For this problem, we want to evaluate secant of negative 9 pi over 4, and we want to do this without using a calculator. So a couple of things jump out at me for this problem. The first thing is, well, secant is defined as the reciprocal of cosine. So I'm first going to try to figure out, well, what's cosine of negative 9 pi over 4? I'm doing that because whatever my answer is here, I will flip it, and that's going to be, by definition, the answer for secant. Okay, so the second thing is, we're asked about the angle negative 9 pi over 4. And that makes me think of, well, there's got to be some reference angle that's going to help us solve this. Since I see a denominator of 4, I'm thinking pi over 4 is going to be my reference angle. And pi over 4 is a 45-degree angle from the positive x-axis going in this direction. Since this is negative 9 pi over 4, we're really rotating in this direction. That's what the negative tells us. But where do we end up? We have to know which quadrant we are in. So let's see, like this would be, negative pi over 4. If you go backwards, pi over 4. This is going to be negative 2 pi over 4. We have negative 3 pi over 4. And then right here is negative 4 pi over 4. I mean, that's the same thing as negative pi. Instead of continuing to write these out, I'll just keep counting. So we have negative 5 pi over 4, negative 6 pi over 4, negative 7 pi over 4, negative 8 pi over 4, and here we're back at negative 9 pi over 4. So that's the big trick for this problem. It's figuring out, well, which angle are we referring to? Like, where is it on the unit circle? And it's right here. Cosine of this angle is defined to be the x value of this point. So I'm going to mark that on the x-axis. That's right here. Well, the x-coordinate of this point is going to be equal to the x-coordinate of this point. So if I want to figure out what is cosine of negative 9 pi over 4, and I'm using this as my reference angle, because we're talking about the x-coordinate, I know that this is going to be equal to cosine of pi over 4. Cosine of pi over 4 has an exact value, and that value is, it can be written two ways. The square root of 2 over 2. It's also equal to 1 over the square root of 2. And now that takes us to the actual question for this problem. Well, what is secant of negative 9 pi over 4? And secant is defined to be the reciprocal of cosine, which means our answer would be, well, you could flip this fraction or you could flip this fraction, and that's my answer. I'm going to choose to flip this fraction just because it'll put a 1 in the denominator, giving me a completely simplified answer. So this is really the square root of 2 over 1, or you could just write the square root of 2. So that is how you can use the unit circle and a reference angle to figure out exact values for, in this case, secant. But this problem could have been asked about cosecant or even sine, and the process is the same.